and I bet you can cop us. LL bad when I go and show up. You can hear the haters in the back. Let me get him one.
What's up?
Let me get him one for the end, homie.
Y'all, what is going on, everybody? This your man Dre Mac coming to you again with another episode of the Dre Mac Show. Just making sure everything is sounding good, is looking good. Make sure that comment in the comment section below. Let me know how everything sounds. Let me do a check myself. Okay, we good. We are good. We are good. We are good. Let me switch it up real quick. I had just some it was weird for the intro. So I do apologize. Not like the way that I normally do my intro, but it was just this I'm still learning this system. So it's some growing pains up in this mug. You know what I'm seeing right now. So please forgive me while I kind of go through these growing pains. I mean, you guys are going through it with me, so you know what I mean. That's the only thing that I could possibly say about that. But good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome again to another episode of the Dre Mac Show. Of course, I am your host, Dre Mac, and today I'm going to do a reaction video to. I was getting asked by this new Rockstar's Council of Kangs video. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna get into that and see what what's that all entail. But let me get to some of these people that's up in here. That's up in here. Roberta, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Tracy Woods, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Junior Network, good morning, good morning, good morning. Prince Setta is in the house. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I think I gotta change the way that looks because it just looks weird with the. I like orange. If you haven't noticed, of course. Good morning. Okay, yeah. Good morning, good morning. Andre Ware's in the house. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Xavier Phoenix is up in here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you, Roberta. I appreciate it. I most appreciate it. Brother Juma's in the house. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Please, peace and blessings to you, my brother. William Moloch with the $2 super chat. Good morning, good morning. Hands doing a fist bump. That's what's up. Let me get you because it's a new way that I gotta do this. You know what I'm saying? It's a new way that I gotta do this, and I gotta start putting these all in like one little motion. If I could actually find it now. Ain't that about a hold up? Why that is not what I want. Let me get you. Let me because this is like I said, this is completely different. So okay, that's why. I was like, why can't I find my stuff? And now I know why I can't find it because it's not in the same place. So let me go ahead and give you. I gotta set this up. Let me give you a super. Let me give you the super chat, big dog. Okay, are we? What's going on? I have no idea. Like I said, it's I gotta work out the kinks of EV Mux. I like it because of what it does, but I gotta work out these kinks. Good God Almighty, I gotta work out these kinks. Mylan Jackson, good morning, good morning, good morning. Great to catch this Kang stream. Keep it together, amazing work. Thank you, Mylan. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Brashad Walker, what's up? Good morning. Good morning again. I'm sorry about this. Matter of fact, it's ain't even on the screen I was just on. We're gonna get to that screen in a minute. So I can get to all you guys' chats. Good morning, good morning. Erica D is up in here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. As she said, celebrated 11, almost a year. Wow. Wow. And I still got to do, I'm still, I just didn't do it this weekend. I still got to get, and I got to figure out a way to do this so Evie Mux to make sure they get everybody who's a member. It will scroll down and tell you who's a member on here. So I still got to do that. I'm just working at the kinks of Evie Mux right now. So, hey, thank you so very much. Like I said, this Evie Mux, boy, this is new. This is new. You know what I'm saying? Is that an effect of that new? Yeah, it's this is Evie Mux, and I like it. You know what I'm saying? Let me transition to just my main one right here, and it's just a part of the it's a part of everything. So, I'm still, like I said, I'm being honest with you, I'm still working out the kinks to this. Just the way that that this works out and everything. I'm still trying to get it together. Still trying to get it together. But I appreciate every member that's up in here. It's been crazy. This year has been crazy, especially with all the stuff that was happening. Well, last year, all the stuff that happened with Jonathan Majors and all that other stuff. So it was a how can you say, very eventful. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that I'm blessed that happened. You know what I'm saying with me. You know what I'm saying. Got to meet new people. You know what I'm saying. Got to meet Jonathan and Megan, all the people from the Jonathan Majors fan group. Shout out to all of them. You know what I'm saying. Blessings to them. It was just, you know what I mean. It was awesome. That's all I got to say is it was awesome, and I wouldn't change what I got to experience last year for nothing in the world. Like absolutely nothing. I was happy. I was happy. Um, Let me get to this video here in just a moment. I might have to go. Lord have mercy. I hate when I hate when I have something and I lose it and I gotta go back and search for everything all over again. That sucks. Ugh. That completely sucks. I might actually start doing this a different way. When I'm doing these reaction videos, actually get what I screen record what I need and then just play it as needed instead of, gotta go through the whole entire thing and skip this and do that and skip that part, skip that part. But let's get to this video. This is a long, I'm not gonna lie, this is a long video. It's Evie Mux. Mux. Evie Mux. Evie Mux. So he said, I'm starting a YouTube channel and want to use it. Hey, it's a lot. It's all I'm gonna say is a lot going on. It is a lot going on. So that's the only thing I'm gonna say about that. It's a lot going on with Evie Mux. But it does have a lot of good, not saying it doesn't have a lot of good features and everything. Obviously, you see the banner, you know what I mean. I created the actual outline myself and then use Evie Mux for the little fire that's in the background, you know what I mean. So it's a lot to it, you know what I mean. But I will say that it is nice. Right now I can't hear any of my music. So that's the only thing I can tell you. But anyway, let's go ahead. Let me get to this reaction. I want to see exactly what New Rockstars is actually saying about what if deleted episode revealed. Did Marvel really erase Kang on, what if? Which I'm not gonna lie, if they did, that's whack. Is super whack. You know what I mean? And all of that. What's up, Sheed? What's good? What's good? What's good? Nah, no problem, my brother, man. Good luck to you. You know what I mean? Good luck. Like I said, It's a lot to it, but I will say that uh it is worth it. I'm not gonna sit up here because again, I went from this to from StreamYard to this. So I'm working out all the kinks myself. You know what I mean? I like I said, I like it uh a lot. Not gonna say I don't like it. I do like it a lot. It's just something to get used to. I would just say that. It's something to get used to. So if I want to say anything, that's what it would be. So, like I said, hopefully you like it and everything. And I'm just gonna try to make sure that now this has changed. Yep. This is what now we're good now. Now we're looking good. Now we're looking good. We're looking good. I just had to and see I will say that's the cool thing about it because I was able to change my brand right inside of EV Mux. It didn't have to I didn't have to do anything. I just legitimately changed the style of it so you can see, you know what I mean? Just I know I'm just showing you guys this, but if I wanted to change from that style to something else, this is just comments. I could do that. You know what I'm saying? Which looks cool. It looks cool. But anyway, that's taking away from what I'm trying to do. Let's get into this video. This is pretty long, so let's get into it. I'm gonna kind of speed this up a little bit, too. So if you hear it, it's a little fast. That's the reason why. Let's get into it.
New Rockstars, Marvel Studios has erased Kang from their timeline, and we now have the evidence from watching What If Season 3. A timeshare without a Kang? What are you trying to pull on us, Marvel? We're going to talk all about how Marvel has had to readjust in the wake of this Jonathan Majors issue, and what that might tell us about their future plans for Avengers Doomsday. Will some plan of the Kang Dynasty film stay intact for Doomsday, or are they just throwing the Kang baby out with the bathwater?
That's right. This is the
And if they do that, and hopefully you guys can hear this, you know what I mean? If they do this, I still think that that's the dumbest decision they could have possibly made on the face of the planet. You already know how I feel. If you was gonna have Kang, have Kang. Don't do that. Don't just throw him away just because you want the nostalgia money with Robert Downey Jr. And people is gonna fall for it. And you know what I mean? Because they didn't like the press. They came out against real. You know what I mean? You know what I was doing. The mass media was doing a lot to destroy Jonathan Majors in the media. And if it wasn't for people like me and Chillmonger and others, people will still be doing it. You know what I mean? I even had people who were for Jonathan Majors get mad at me for going after people trying to destroy with their bigger platforms Jonathan Majors. That's how deep the psyche is. If you really think about it, that's how deep people's rooted hatred was as they listen to people. I still got people texting me about Jonathan Majors breaking up with Megan Good, even though that was deep on T. He proposed to her. People are still finding videos of like, man, don't tell me this is true. You see how easily we can be swayed? You know what I mean? So that's why I did what I did. You know what I mean? And I said what I would continue to do that. You know what I mean? So, this is what happened. You know what I mean? And it's only a few of us that was trying to repair the image of him. Like, dude, he's not what y'all trying to make him seem to be. But people was on that train. You know what I mean? And what that does is that takes away from Jonathan. And number two, what's so bad about that is that, look, I understand that things happen. He was in the media. I get that. I completely get that. At the same time, what are we doing as a society? What are we doing as a society where we can easily just be swayed by what somebody says and not look at all the facts? So Let's get to this.
The Sneak Peek, the weekly show on New Rock Stars where we discuss the future of fandom. I'm Brandon Barrick, and joining me today, it's always Eric Voss.
Hi, everybody. Jessica is still recovering from her holiday break right now, but Jessica will be back with us in the weeks ahead. This is our first sneak peek of 2025.
Oh, it feels great in this year. I love it.
Daredevil Born Again coming out this year. We got Thunderbolts. We got Captain America Brave New World.
I haven't seen this, so
yeah.
So you got to forgive me.
They'll also probably start shooting a Spider-Man this year.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
We'll probably get more information about that, what that future looks like.
I'm legitimately seeing this for the first time, just like you guys.
And Beyond the Spider-Verse will come out. It's supposed to be last year, but not even going to be this year, I don't think.
We all left Across the Spider-Verse with the knowledge that it would be a year away for the next movie, and everyone going,
I wish this was broken down in a
But not invited to this big party, Brandon, is one Nathaniel Richards, Kang the Conqueror,
let's
aka
get
Victor
to it.
Timely. He has been apparently erased from any plans that Marvel has for their future. Now, we had wondered what exactly they would do when they announced that the title of Avengers 5 was changing from Avengers the Kang Dynasty to something else. They announced that in like May or June 2024. And then at Comic-Con in July of 2024, they said that the title will be Avengers Doomsday. It will now be a Doctor Doom centered story starring Robert Downey Jr. All of us just kind of assumed that Kang was no longer part of the math, but we figured that, well, they've laid the groundwork for Kang still being involved somehow. And Marvel, up until this point, has never completely disavowed any of their stories, like even recastings in the past. Parts of Thor the Dark World came back. Eternals is coming back in different forms. The first 2008 Incredible Hulk film with Edward Norton in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is now coming back, with Tim Blake Nelson coming back in Captain America Brave New World. I feel like they will always find a way to fold everything in. And the amount of work they did to set up Kang as like at least a player on the stage, we thought would come into form in some way. But now, as we watched What If Season 3, it feels like there wasn't.
For one, let me just say this, because I haven't said this because I didn't talk about this publicly. What if Season 3 was dog water? There was one or maybe 2 or 3 good episodes. The rest of that was dog water. A lot of a lot of creepy fiction going on, creepy fetish fiction, especially the Howard the Duck. Let me just get into this. For one, the Howard the Duck episode was probably the nastiest thing I've ever saw in my life. At Disney, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Again, these are the people who are trying to be on this more. This is why I honestly do not like Disney, because Disney tries to be on this moral high ground, right? About what we do or whatever, and then you had no problem putting out Howard the Duck and Dorsey have a baby, and then you create a new character who's nobody, Birdie the Duck. But then when we ask, black people ask for brand new characters instead of blackwashing characters, instead of putting, black people in white roles, then we get looked at like we're crazy. You see what I mean? You can create a character for this What If show, but you cannot create black characters for the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. You can't create new characters for these particular roles and then rise them up to prominence like Harley Quinn did in Batman the Animated Series. I use her for example because in Batman the Animated Series, Harley Quinn was nobody. She was never featured in any Batman, any Detective Comics, nothing. Ever. And they created her for the show, and she's one of the most popular female characters in DC right now, and probably in all of comics, right? They had no problem, creating a character to make sure that they elevate that character, right? But then when we ask for it, stop giving black people white titles, stop giving black actors white roles, stop that. We're not asking for that. Even though you're trying to fill your DEI hire, just create characters or use existing black characters, elevate them to the same status as that white character, and maybe, just maybe, you might have something on your hands. Batman the Animated Series did it. Why can't you? And then you have other YouTubers with bigger channels looking at us like we're crazy because we're following what racists are doing, or racists say that all the time. Well, if I was getting my characters erased like they used to do during the minstrel cycle, the minstrel periods, you know what I'm saying? Or they would go with blackface and make fun of us, or they will erase the black character altogether and put a white guy in that as that character, like they were going to do with Alex Cross, then maybe I do have a legitimate gripe. And maybe they have a legitimate gripe. But they don't look at it like that. They look at it in a microcosm and say, look, we're doing something for you. Be happy with it. And no, I'm not going to be happy with it. It's ridiculous. You see what I mean? And to use What If that was all over the place, there was too many episodes that were trash can juice. You know what I mean? It was straight trash can juice. And to say that this is the way we're going to eliminate Kang, is if you do this, Marvel, this is horrible. And again, I'm riding for DC from now on if this is the way that they're going to do this. And I'm not joking. This is trash.
Episode removed.
Totally.
That they removed a Kang episode. And we should acknowledge that no one at Marvel Studios has acknowledged this. Brad Winderbaum has not said that there was any kind of Kang thing removed. The director of the series, Brian Andrews, told comicbook.com recently that, none of this is official, but something in my gut tells me it might be more of a pause for the time being because it just feels like there's other things we can tell, implying that there was more storyline that they were playing with.
So he said maybe there's a pause. And again, I have every time that I've reached out and me and Jonathan has had a conversation, he wants to be that character. He wants to finish his story. And I did talk to him over the holidays. He said, Happy New Year to everyone. And, he's still thankful for all the support you guys give, But when we talked about the Kang character, he wants to play that character. He wants to finish that character. He loves that. Everything he brought into that character, he made on his own. So, of course, naturally, like he said I'm not his publicist, but like he said with TMZ, he wants to finish that character. He loves that character. So I believe it's unfair, even just for the character. Even if they thought about and I hate using this, but even if they thought about recasting, right? Even if they said, well, we just recast the character altogether. Fine, do what you want to do, right? You still got to finish that story. You don't set nobody up for the ultimate failure. You just don't. It doesn't make sense. And to me, as a comic book fan, I'm going to look at you sketchy from now on. Because who else would you do that? Maybe I'm a little sensitive on this part, but it so happened to happen to the brother. All the people who they got in trouble with in Marvel Studio history, you had to do that to the black guy. So I'm not supposed to feel a certain way about that. You already eliminated T'Challa, the Black Panther, son of T'Chaka, not his bastard son, Toussaint. You already eliminated a strong black alpha male character. Do you bring in Kang and he gives you that same vibe and then you eliminate him over a misdemeanor ticket? Come on, dog.
What if we'll come back in the future, even though they said they're done with it for now?
Right.
And this kind of like Kang erasure started with Loki season 2, right? There was that line at the end where they were like, "Oh, we've dealt with that with this with all the different versions of He Who Remains, and this one version who was dealing with like Ant-Man seems to be settled." And that seemed to be kind of a button on the ending of Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can read it because they were still like.
You told Mom to send her prescription to.
Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna pay for this one day.
That's what Mobius and B-15 were doing, but we knew that Loki was ending. But that those characters, that someone in the TVA was still investigating this, and we knew that the TVA was going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine, so we just had to assume that the TVA will still live on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Totally.
that the TVA will be concerned with this rising Kang threat. And that was as late as November 2003. This was after the charges were already announced for Jonathan Majors, after their Palm Springs retreat. But I think something happened at that Palm Springs retreat. I think that's when the Doom switch was decided. This was in September 2023, and Marvel Studios, with their executives, does their annual retreat, and they were in Palm Springs, and I believe it was Variety who reported that at that meeting was when they first started talking about, well, should we swap out Kang for Doom and just go back to what Jonathan Hickman did in Time Runs Out in 2015 Secret Wars and just make God Emperor Doom the villain of it, because that really was the framework that they seem to be basing everything on, based off of Multiverse of Madness and what Mike Waldron wrote in that Reed Richards monologue. But I think that decision was made. I think they were doing casting decisions, and they already had shot, and they were in post-production for Loki season 2 at that point. So they ended Loki season 2 pretty much the way they were doing, and then timing just kind of worked out on their favor because Loki season 2 came out and was done a month before Jonathan Majors' verdict came out, right? Not a sentencing, but he was found guilty of assault, and that's something that we should acknowledge.
See?
I have opinions about Marvel Studios.
Nope. I'm still not gonna let you do it, Eric. I'm still not gonna let you do it because you're not gonna be off the hook on that one. Aggravated assault is not the same as assault. Not gonna let you do that, Eric. I'm not gonna let you do it. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Aggravated assault. Not aggravated assault and reckless assault are not the same thing. So when people do say this, it pisses me off for the simple fact is that they never say it right. Let me say that again. They never say it right. They never say, hey, with that aggravated assault, this is what this looks like. This is what that looks like. They never do that. They always go into, well, it's assault. He was just found guilty of assault. Remember, he was found guilty of assault. What type of assault? Is that, something that you would make sure that your people know, right? And we know exactly what that actually means. You know what I mean? Are you educating the people? That's all I'm asking. Are you educating the people so they know that that assault charge was reckless assault? Does not mean, let me repeat, it does not mean that he assaulted that woman. On the process of getting his own stuff back, that's exactly what happened. In the means of him trying to get his phone, that's how he was attacked. I wanted to just put the chat up, you know what I'm saying, so you guys can see what's going on, so I can see what's going on in the chat. But that's what happened. And for when they say, well, he was found guilty of assault, well, we can say that about a lot of people, or even the allegations, you know what I'm saying, that went on with a lot of these people in here. So, of course, you know that I'm going to tag new rock stars in this, because what I don't want to continue to happen is me continue to do these reaction videos and don't tag the people that I'm reacting to. So if they do see this, they're like, no, it's reckless assault and a misdemeanor, a city citation of harassment. This ain't even a crime in New York. If they go look it up, I just don't like the fact when they do that, it comes off so disingenuous. Let me keep going.
Wrapping all their plans, their narrative plans, and the way Marvel Studios assumes that their actors are their characters, and they put too much on like, well, this character and the actor have to be the same person.
Them making the decision to like totally scrap the narrative is interesting because they don't have to do that, right? There was those rumors right before like the writers and actors strike began that they were looking to recast Jonathan Majors, bring someone else in to play Kang. I remember like Coleman Domingo's name got floated around, lots of names. And some of that is agents trying to boost the profile of their actors, right? But I think they probably certainly considered it, and they could have easily done it, right? In a world of multiverses and variants, you could have easily brought in another actor to be like, no, this is actually the Supreme Kang. People were mad when Kang lost to Ant-Man. He was defeated by ants, as people complained. As I always said, that was the dumbest Kang. That Kang got stuck in the quantum realm and couldn't get out. He was the dumbest Kang. Of course he got beat by Ant-Man. But for them to like totally scrap the idea, Destin Daniel Cretton was originally going to direct Kang Dynasty. He stepped down from that role to focus on doing like Wonder Man, and he's going to do Shang-Chi Part 2 and all that kind of stuff. But I think they probably consider continuing the storyline that they were very much building to, starting with like Loki season 1, and they've just decided to scrap it all, put all their eggs in the Doom basket. Really push forward on Fantastic Four, which was something I thought they were dragging their heels on because they got the rights to those characters years ago, and they've been really slow about rolling it out, and they wanted to do the perfect rollout. And you could argue they've done that. There's a lot of hype around that movie. But yeah, what could have been with this whole Kang storyline if they'd really stuck with it and really seen it through?
See, the one thing about Kang is that you can always come back to Kang because he's about time. He's about time. The problem is you don't set up that council of Kangs and all those Kangs, and then you do it in the background. All we neutralize those stars. All right, let me ask you. Excuse me. Sorry. Let me ask you guys a question. Is what Jonathan Majors did that bad to scrap a whole storyline? And again, it's not Jonathan Majors' fault that the movie wasn't a success like they thought it was. That's not Jonathan Majors' fault. We can always go back to Eric Voss and the Cosmic Wonder and E-Man from E-Man's movie reviews and all these reviewers, and go and see after they came from Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumanium, who was they revering? We can go back and pull the receipts to every single one of these reviewers, and all of them 1000% was like Jonathan Majors was the best part of Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Quantumanium. They didn't like the ending, but the best part of Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Quantumania was Jonathan Majors. So for them to not say, you know what, I think this is just a little bit, have their own, man, not saying that that's not his own voice. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because I'm more passionate about what's going on, is that I see it differently. But the way that I look at it is that, dog, you got to say, if we look at it, and I got to give Emergency also his props. Because he was like, I mean, the jury was, I mean, the verdict was a little, I mean, the girl even dropped her lawsuit. No matter whatever happened, whether it was financial compensation or whatever, he no longer has that lawsuit hanging over his head. So for him to lose everything and for Marvel to scrap it is the most idiotic thing I've ever seen in my life. And they deserve everything that they get. If movies flop, it's on them. Because look how you did. I'ma just say this. A guy don't like ugly. Look at the way you did to prominent black male male creators, male actors. Look at the way you treated them. Not talking about Anthony. Don't bring up Anthony Mackie. Don't say, well, look what they give Captain America. You give Anthony Mackie Captain America. I don't want to hear that because they always do that. It's one exception. Hollywood is known for the one black male exception. So don't give me that. Because that's your counter argument is the black male exception. Wesley Snipes, Will Smith, Denzel Washington, Kevin Hart. And then I don't even count The Rock because, you know, he represents more of his Samoan heritage way more than he does his black daddy heritage. So I'm not even counting him. But when I'm talking about the one major superstar to get all the roles, right? Whose majority you see, right? It's normally those guys. It was Eddie for a long period of time. Then it was Wesley for a long period of time. You know what I'm saying? Denzel Washington, Will Smith, you already know. But to have multiple, to have a Mahershala Ali, to have a Jonathan Majors, to have a Chadwick Boseman, God rest his soul, but to have somebody take over that, they don't want that. And they're proving that to you right now.
And really built this character up as a multi-movie, multi-series villain that ends, this multiverse saga.
I think they really doubled down on Jonathan Majors' acting versatility, his ability to play lots of different characters in different forms. And I will say that just judging the performance of the actor from Loki season 1, that finale, the performance he gave as He Who Remains was incredible, and the performance he gave as Victor Timely was incredible in season 2. The performance he gave as Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was successful. The performances he gave as the other Kang variants in the post scene is very wild and big swings that I don't know if I needed to see in a future Marvel movie. Those particular Kangs.
I want to see the guy who was like, yeah!
The one who was screaming in the stands. It was just wild. And so
that must have been a wild day on the volume.
I think that was Marvel Studios' mistake here, was doubling down so much on just one actor playing different incarnations rather than allowing different actors to play different forms of Kang over time. And then you can have one who plays this version of Kang, and you have 7 or 8 others.
Especially your pivotal Kangs, right? You don't want a movie where Jonathan Majors has to play 5 different Kangs that are all the main villains. Every head of the Council of Kangs was of Jonathan Majors. It's like any of those could have been a different actor.
Was the plan to have a Mike Myers, Austin Powers
a Nutty
movie?
Professor,
a Clumps family of Kangs? It's just like you're gonna have your fat bastard.
But see, what they're not really recognizing and not really saying just yet, I don't know if they will because this is the first time he's seeing this, is that look how successful Jonathan Majors was playing all those characters. What is taken away from that? Yeah, they look wild. Yes, it's crazy, but look how successful he was playing multiple characters. That will literally tell you how incredible Jonathan Majors is as an actor.
Kang, you're gonna have your Gold Member Kang, you're gonna have your Dr. Evil Kang, and your Austin Powers Kang. It's just like at some point that would have been very goofy if they did that.
I think so.
Like even what worked about Spider-Man No Way Home was he had different actors that people had different relationships with, and for some people their favorite Spider-Man was Tobey Maguire, for some their favorite was Angel.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it one more time. When they talk about different actors playing different roles, what was that same energy yet for T'Challa? What was that same energy yet when you're talking about all these multiple Spider-Man? Why can't I have the same thing with T'Challa? You want it with Kang the Conqueror, and I told y'all a long time ago, I would have loved for Kang just to, you're going to recast, which I still believe in my heart of hearts, Jonathan Majors needs to finish that character out. Let it go after that. But if you're not going to do that, you're going to recast. Give it to a white. Give it back to a white guy. He's white in the comments. Let him finish it out. Just give it back to him. Let them have their character back. So if it flops, it's on them. And because I'm tired of black actors, you know what I mean, having to go through the shucking and jiving that they got to go through just to be seen on film. I'm legitimately tired of it. I understand Anthony Mackie got to do what he got to do so he can be a leading man. I'm not personally, I'm not mad at nobody who does what they got to do to be where they trying to be at. I'm not mad at that. I left Hollywood. I lived in LA. I left. I was talking to my daughter about this the other day because she's going into modeling and acting. And I told her personally, I was like, at 22, I want you to do something that I want you to do something that I didn't do. If you get out to LA, stay at LA. If you get there, stay. I left. If you have an opportunity to go. And don't look back if that's really what you wanted to do. And trust me, acting is all I ever wanted to do. I loved football to death, but nothing in this world. Music to death. Nothing takes away from acting, though. Nothing takes away from nothing in this world. Takes away from the love that I have for acting. Because I loved it that much. And my daughter has that same trait. I say, go for it. Do it. Do it and be happy with it. So to know that these guys give their blood, sweat, and tears for these roles. Got to do the Hollywood Shuffle. You've never seen Robert Townsend Hollywood Shuffle. Is highly recommended. Especially just whenever. Not even during Black History, but just whenever. Go watch it. Because you got it. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I'm not mad at that, but you know what consequences come with that. Good or bad. Live with it. But I'm just tired of really good black actors getting overlooked because of the Hollywood foolishness. And like I said, we could have been talking about multiple T'Challas. But nope. We could talk about multiple Spider-Mans, multiple Peter Parkers. We could talk about Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man. Now he can play Dr. Doom. He can play multiple characters. We can't have Idris Elba play T'Challa. But since you're doing all of that, we can't have Eldridge Hotman and play T'Challa, so we doing the multiverse. You shouldn't have one character in the multiverse just be played by the same character, right? That same logic needs to be applied to T'Challa.
Andrew Garfield. For some, it was Tom Holland, and they could all be represented that way.
They could play off each other and do a really good job with it, you know.
But I think the idea of Kang being a Time Lord who was manipulating history from the beginning was always what I was most excited by. If we could go back through MCU history and they could retcon certain details as being the doings of Kang, I thought that was just like a really exciting prospect, and I was just interested to see like, oh well, when Don Cheadle is now Rhodey instead of Terrence Howard, that was a glitch in the Matrix. Like there was all these little plot holes that they could have assigned to Kang, and I think when Kang was introduced at the end of Loki season 1, I think that's where all of our heads were. That was summer 2021, and that went right into Comic-Con 2021 when like they announced was that when Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was announced, or was this a year later? I don't know. We spent like a year in kind of this like fun theory state of just like where this all could go. What we're really talking about, we talked about the evidence we had that Kang was erased, and what we're really referring to is in What If season 3 episode 7. So there were 8 episodes of What If season 3, and we internally in Rockstars have been very confused by Marvel's release strategy with What If. What If season 1 was a huge success, and we're basing that off of our numbers and our breakdowns of it, and just the conversation that was being had. Like, people recognized that it was an animated series, as an anthology series, and some people had mixed opinions about the way it was revealed to not be an anthology series, but just like episodic. But many of those episodes in season 1 remain incredible.
Season 1, dope. 2 and 3, yeah.
Pieces of storytelling from the What If Strange tried to save Christine Palmer with a time stone. What if the Avengers were being murdered in a plot by Hank Pym? What if a zombie virus?
The zombie virus one.
Great
the first one, the Captain Carter one, was really interesting, and I thought really well done. And I liked how they kind of rehashed a lot of moments we knew from the Captain America movie, but put Peggy Carter in there.
But yet you can have Peggy Carter. This is what I'm talking about. You got Peggy Carter coming to the MCU, the main universe, right? Well, not the main universe, but she was an 838 variant. But Peggy Carter was there. But you got the Illuminati in no T'Challa. Like, if you know anything about the comics, you know the Illuminati gotta have Black Panther T'Challa. It has to. And while everybody was clamoring for Shuri Black Panther, Where the hell has she been at? She was a blip in season 3. Literally in the first episode, that at the mech suit Avengers versus Godzilla Hulk. Boo! That sucked. She literally was a blink if you miss it. You just think she was another Wakandan.
Place. I think that's a device they relied on in this series, where it was often. I thought this critique online. I agree with it. This was more like a what if the MCU was different, not what if Marvel characters had different experiences, right?
Yeah.
And in those flashes in that final episode, it was like
Listen to this.
Don't try to get me because that beat's kind of tight.
characters like a Wolverine, Thanos, a pirate, female Crossbones, like all this stuff was like crazy. That's what we wanted to see more of, right?
Yeah.
Instead of these kind of like little tweaks on the MCU.
Yeah, personally, maybe this is
back
just
to-
my entry point to what if. I really
Kang.
liked the sliding doors aspect of what if like just something subtle happened, a butterfly effect rippled out and changed the world. Like what was really cool about the Doctor Strange episode was it was pretty much the same world as Doctor Strange for the 2016 film, but he just goes further and further down this dark path. And you can imagine, oh, this whole library of Cagliostro might actually have been in South America, but Strange had no need to go there in the live action world that we saw, but it was still there.
Yeah.
And what if he really just like scratched that itch and kept scratching and scratching and scratching until he went down this dark path? And all the episodes, for the most part, of season 1 felt that way. They really did feel like there was this little moment.
Yeah.
And what if in this moment something else happened? And maybe my obsession with that little moment is why our own New Rockstars format of our What If show that we tried in 2024 didn't really connect with viewers as much, because I was just obsessed with like identifying what was that nexus moment in all of our lives and all of our careers. And I feel like the What If writers and animators stopped caring about that in season 2 and 3, and instead they were just like trying to ideate these other genres and then work backwards up to that genre, and it didn't work because it was like their indulgent wish fulfillment that felt kind of disconnected.
Yeah.
And what the Marvel executives allowed them to use in terms of a cast often felt like Marvel Studios either couldn't find ways to fit them in or just gamble too hard.
How long it takes to animate these things. That's why they've been behind on getting all the episodes out for a season, or they've had to pick these characters super early. Like the fact
And she knows how to use it. Like they are arriving to the scene to help Nebula from the season 2 premiere in some kind of event, and she's like warning her about things to come. Like if you continue down this path, bad things will happen. Like she has seen the future of that universe. And then she's already in league with Cohorty. Makes sense because we saw it at the end of season 2. But we never saw how she met Storm, like the Mighty Storm. We never saw how she met Ruby. They're just already there. And to me, there was something removed there.
Yeah.
There must have been some Kang episode where they came across Kang from the end of Quantumania or just some other Kang variant, and they were going to establish how Kang has been involved in this universe. And
You know what's crazy is that they could have still had Kang just voiced by somebody else. I mean, he could have still kind of favored Jonathan Majors. Just there's so many talented voice actors. It's to me, just to me, does it seem like a thing to erase the strong black men out of the MCU? I mean, they not going to say that because they're not going to look at it in the way that I'm looking at it. And again, maybe I'm being a little sensitive to the subject, right? Maybe I'm being sensitive to the subject. But think about it like this. Blade, you got all these other projects that came out. We done had 3 Sonic movies. Sonic. They fixed Sonic's face and made 3 movies. No Blade. Right? You got T'Challa. No T'Challa. Strong black straight men. Let me say that. Yeah, thank you. Strong black straight men. You got no T'Challa. And you talking about Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom being a big character in Secret Wars, because it's 2015. We ain't talking about 19, the cash grab for toys and merch, because that's what 1985's Secret Wars was. If you know, you know. It was a cash grab for toys, right? But look at the way they pumped up Robert Downey Jr. coming back and Dr. Doom. Guess who else is the big linchpin to that story? T'Challa. You have to have T'Challa. You have to. Too big to not. Too big not to. Right? Kang the Conqueror. Once they got an opportunity to erase his brother out of the timeline, they pruned him like the real TVA is Disney. Disney Marvel. That's the real TVA. Right? If you really think about it, if you really look at the way that they treated, and I, again, do not bring up Anthony Mackie in the comment section. I don't want to hear nothing about Anthony Mackie. That is a anomaly right now. I'm talking about what exactly they're doing with strong black male lead actors. Look at exactly what they're doing and tell me this don't look funny. You get T'Challa, we get him for one movie, but we done already talking about how many Spider-Man movies? 3, 2, let me see, 8 Spider-Man movies played by 3 different characters, and I get one T'Challa. You get Blade Trinity, and then you get Blade to cameo in a movie, but I can't get a full-length movie with a new actor. But we're talking about, oh, but we have fun with these different characters playing off each other. You get Jonathan Majors Kang, right? Jonathan Majors Kang, it look exactly what they've done to that character, and I'm not supposed to feel a certain way. I'm not supposed to look at this and be like, nah. You see what I mean? Like, come on, dog. Tori Ray Reloaded with the $20 super chat. Thank you so very much. I'll take it a step further and say erase strong black male characters out of film, television altogether. One thing about T'Challa and a lot of strong black male characters is that they are universally appealing. Look, and I agree with you because look what Cross has done. Look at what Cross has done with Aldous Hodge. One of the #1 shows on Paramount. Or Prime. I'm sorry, not Paramount, Prime. Look what they did, and look what happened. They showed a strong black male character that was a daddy. His kids wasn't bastards. He lost the love of his life, and he still got to go do what he got to do. Look what they did with that character. And you're telling me that you ain't able to do that? I'm trying to tell you, there be some fishy stuff going on. But thank you again for that $20 super chat. We're just having problems with the video, so let me give. Appreciate the super chat. I just didn't want to bring up that video again because it's just, this has been weird with this. So, yeah, that's the thing. We make this stuff look good and they hate it. We make this stuff look good and they hate it. And make sure you guys, if you're watching this for the first time, you see what Robert D is put in. If you're enjoying the content, hit the like button and subscribe to the video. Thank you so very much, Robert D, if you're liking this video. Let's keep going.
Specifically, season 2 ended with a shot of Loki. Loki's time, well, not Loki, but his time tree that Loki season 2 ended with. Yeah. And I think the implication from that was that was going to continue some kind of epilogue from Loki season 2 in animated form. That was the idea of it. But, you know, the difference with like season 2 and 3, they were both dropped during the Christmas holiday with these one at a time daily episodes. And none of us who work in YouTube or in content coverage understood why they did that. Like, people watching stuff at home during the holidays are not going to dominate the TV that everyone is sitting around to watch this animated Marvel show that they may care about, but no one else in their family is going to watch. Like, this is not everyone in the family sit around and watch type of show. This is like the one Marvel nerd in your family couldn't change at that point because that was so
time to write and animate.
Yeah, they would have had to come up with a whole new way. They're testing out this 5th dimensional reality shard, and it just would have been too hard to come. Is a proper lead.
It's the biggest deal at breakfast. Get it.
Okay, I'm gonna pay for it. Just not right now. Whew. Oh God, Skip.
People and maintain power and hold power. And Kang is just someone who is a revolutionary.
Yeah.
So I think
Alexander the Great formed one of the largest empires we've ever known, went all the way from Macedonia to India, and he dies at 33, and there was no one set up to be the successor, and they were like, what do we do now?
Right.
And that's why the Macedonians disappeared, right? Because they had no succession plan in place. So yeah, I think this was a really fun opportunity or an interesting opportunity, and I think Marvel's been a little afraid to address it, and they just want to act like it was never there.
Right.
But I think you're right. It would have been a fun swerve to be kind of surprised by like, no, this wasn't the villain. We have a new villain coming from behind the curtain that you didn't see there the whole time. Now, it makes sense why they would announce Robert Downey Jr. They got so much press out of it. This kind of erased the kind of negative feelings around, having this like Jonathan Major story kind of in the middle of what some consider kind of weaker phases of Marvel, right? They've been really struggling to find their footing again after Endgame.
And I'm gonna tell you this. To be honest with you, it probably would have been. Let's just say this. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Kang comes back in one of these episodes of What If. What do you think they're talking about right now? Or you think they're talking about Kang being erased, or are they getting hype for more Kang? Think about it. Just think about it just for a second. If we're watching What If and you see Kang pop up, right? You see Kang pop right up. And you're like, oh, snap. Like how they talked about that chair. Just think about it even more. If Kang, Jonathan Majors Kang, was to be in an episode that actually sets up something in the future where all of this stuff connects. Remember, the thing I don't like about What If, it doesn't connect to anything. So why should I care? It's entertaining, yeah, but I don't really care now because it doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? Thank you, Tracy Woods, for a $20 super chat. Can't wait for Cross Season 2. I do need to let it pay for itself. But thank you so very much for the $20 super chat, Tracy Woods. I appreciate that that so much. Thank you. I think I might just do the magic twinkle every time you guys do a super chat now, since the thing be acting funny. You know what I'm saying? With this stuff. But yeah, she said, I can't wait for season 2 across. Recast T'Challa. I can't wait for season 2 across either. Because unfortunately, I can't get it in my comic book movies, so I might as well get it from these guys writing books. White men. Let me just say this real quick. A white man who knew not to colorize his character, stood by his character, knows better than all these Marvel executives. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. All these writers from Marvel that was like, oh, we'll just put Falcon in Captain America's suit, call him Captain, and that'll make black people happy. Hooray! When the black dude was like, I'm gonna take my original, when the white guy was like, nope. How you do it is take that original character, keep him black, let him stay black, and make him unapologetically black. Somebody know how to do it. They need to follow the guidelines. Roberta, thank you so very much for the $20 super chat. You guys are freaking amazing right now. Thank you so very much. The universality of appeal for strong black straight men is the entire problem. They don't want their kids to emulate our characters. You already know that they don't want their women to find this appealing. I'm just saying. And what's funny is that I remember that white kids, Mexican kids dressing up as T'Challa. And I don't know if you guys have revisionist history, but I do remember some people not liking it. But thank you for that $20 super chat. I really appreciate it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm just saying, it's showing its teeth now. It's showing its teeth.
Game, which is maybe a little harsh criticism because Endgame was such a an interesting thing that they were able to do. And they've been trying to start again, and they've got streaming shows, and they've got movies, and they got video games and all this stuff they want you to watch now. So it's kind of hard to compare it all to the buildup of Endgame. But it seems like they're just afraid to acknowledge that they've had to change things. But I think they should lean into it more and leave, like to your point, leave the architecture of Kang there. Just show how another villain has come in and taken advantage of it.
Yeah. Would it have been that much more to bring, like if say their plan was to have Jonathan Majors record audio for this mystery 7th Kang episode of season 3? If you decide to part ways with Kang, I think that's fine. Marvel Studios wants to depart ways with Jonathan Majors, the actor. That's their decision. He was convicted of a crime.
Totally.
That's a serious
You're a
felony.
business. You're a private business.
Totally understandable.
It's not a serious crime. They act like this man went in and robbed a bank. Like the dude, Chiefaholic, from Kansas City, who was dressing up as a Kansas City wolf and ran in and was robbing people to fund his habit to go to Chiefs games. He didn't do that. He was on tape. What's killing me is that Eric knows this too. Eric knows this. He's seen that video of him running away from that woman, but he can't say that. He can't say it without some type of backlash. That's what it really is, and that's heartbreaking. Because I think he feels if I say the right thing, it might come off as that, I'm agreeing, with the fact that he shouldn't have lost his job. And again, he's looking at his bottom dollar. I can't be mad at that, but I would just say, well, I don't know anything about the case to be able to form an opinion, but just based off of what mainstream media is, but I haven't looked at it myself. There's an easy way to do that, but to give your opinion and it's wrong. It's not a major crime, dude. It was a misdemeanor, assault, reckless assault. Like, seriously, it was a reckless assault. And the man was running away from the woman on tape. Then they're trying to make it seem like it's the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of life.
But to erase the character from the universe feels unnecessary. It is
No.
not necessary because there's still.
What you're not seeing is they have been erasing strong black, straight male characters. Remember, Kang was really bumping uglies with Janet Van Dyne. Y'all forgot that part, but you don't want to say that part.
Still a lot of cool things you can do with that character. They could have brought in a different voice actor to do it. I feel like there's plenty of examples in What If alone of different voice actors emulating the live action version of the character. And either way, we're going to see that timeshare in episode 7. You can't act like we're not going to see it and not have opinions and thoughts about like what might have been removed. So like either way, it's going to be a story. I think this is just the flawed thinking of Disney as a corporation is they think they can just extract things or they can just put up a wall behind something at Disneyland and think that we just won't see it.
Yeah.
And we'll just focus on the bigger, shinier thing. But that's not going to happen. There's going to be a whole new faction of Disney diehards who are going to be asking about Oswald. That's you're going to create a new conspiracy now by trying to cover it up. So why not just embrace it and just say like we're making this decision now? Like I love the Don Cheadle line in Iron Man 2. Like it's me, I'm here, let's move on. It'd be like not addressing it at all. So I'm just disappointed if that's what they're going to do. If they're just going to completely scrap. I
agree.
If they're never going to address the Quantumania mid-credit scene ever again,
Yeah,
I'd be disappointed.
I agree.
Yeah, if all the address we'll get is what they said in like Loki at the end of Loki season 2, right? Which even that scene could have been added in and like, well, I guess they didn't do any reshoots for Loki. They were very proud of that. They did reshoots for Loki.
Yeah. I want, if it's not Fantastic Four first steps, that's fine. But at some point, we need to hear Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards kind of project into the future or look into the multiverse or talk to his variants and be like, oh, there is one of our descendants who was a villain who controlled time. And don't ever go to ancient Egypt because there will be one of our descendants in Pharaoh Ramatut who's there laying a trap for us. Like there are little things you can do to still keep alive this chunk of the history because I think it is important. And I think it is really cool. And there's a lot of storytelling opportunity. You don't need to have like people asking, well, why can't Jonathan Majors come back? And I think it's also Marvel Studios flawed thinking that like actor equals character. And they keep doing this too much. Like they refuse to recast. And it's like, we aren't stupid. We understand that actors are playing characters. And I think the character is more valuable to you than the actor. But I don't know.
Then why weren't you saying this after Recast T'Challa came out? You're saying it now. But with your channel, Eric, you, what's the other brother's name that runs New Rockstars? I can't think of the guy's name. I see his face. I can't think his name. But you guys had the numbers. You had the numbers during Recast T'Challa to say that same exact thing about T'Challa that you just said about Kang and Jonathan Majors. You had your opportunity to say that. No, not MT. Not him. It's the guy who helped Eric Voss and the other guy who helped create New Rockstars. I just can't think of his name offhand right now. I see his face. I think it's Eric. Can't think of his name. But anyway, they had their opportunity to say that then. Even E-Man even said, if we had a New Rockstars say that, the trajectory and everything would have been different. If you would have had one of these big channel, Emergency Awesome, New Rockstars, Screen Crush, you know what I mean? Say that. Philip Molina, thank you, Diego, because I see it in the chat. Yes, Philip Molina. Him and Eric Voss helped start New Rockstars. If you don't know, I've been watching these guys for a long time. But just think of how more, not just the little guys like me, you know what I'm saying? Not just the other little guys, you know what I'm saying? E-Man channel blew up, but it's not on the same path as New Rockstars. It's not nowhere close to that. It's a tenth of that, you know what I'm saying? Or even less. Hell, I'm less than 1% of that. But if Eric Voss would have been saying that then, do you think that especially with him going to red carpet events, going to San Diego Comic-Con on their dime, they wouldn't have said that? They wouldn't have looked at it and said, you know what? Maybe, because Nate Moore also, I know he looks at what's going on in social media. Even though he might said, you know, we're going to tell the story we want to tell, but I can see your side because you got these big YouTube channels saying it now. Now everybody's clamoring for T'Challa. We legitimately could have had a recast a long time ago. We could have still honored Chadwick, which you already did. You didn't have to pay for a funeral, and you could have did Black Panther Wakanda Forever the way that you wanted to do it in the beginning.
What it is about Marvel Studios thinking that they feel like we can't have a different actor, that the actor is too iconic. Maybe they just like overvalued how important Robert Downey Jr. was.
I think you nailed it right on the head. I think they saw how well that worked, and they just want to replicate it as much as they can, right? I think maybe in 5 years we'll see Johnny Depp play Kang, and then Jonathan Majors show up as Jack Sparrow. I think you just swap them out, you know?
I ain't gonna lie, that was funny. That was funny.
I mean, Disney wants them both back for the franchises. You can tell it. They're tasting the air every day. They're like, when can we do this? I think you just swap them.
Do you think that they looked at like how Mads Mikkelsen played Grindelwald in that franchise, replacing Johnny Depp, and then that died, and they're like, well, we can't have that happen in our universe?
Ooh.
That's not the reason why that franchise died. That franchise was flawed to begin with.
Because I was going to try and see if there was anything that the DCEU did that kind of scared them, but they never had any weird recasting. It was so short-lived, most of the DCEU. But if you look at DC, right, at any given time, they've got 5 people playing Batman, 4 people playing Jokers, and everyone's fine with it. Yeah. Like, no one gets mad that, you know, Batman shows up on the Harley Quinn animated series, but also is Robert Pattinson, but is also going to be in The Brave and the Bold, but has also got a video game, you know, and they're all different Batmans. Like, we get it. We're used to it now. Yeah, I think Marvel just needs to stop being so afraid of recasting people in these roles. Because, I mean, you know, especially for comic book fans, we get used to the character being different every 5 issues. Depending on who's writing for a character and who's drawing them, they can be very different.
Exactly.
So we can get used to different people.
Well, you know who they're missing while they're talking about that, right? You see, they haven't mentioned T'Challa.
Playing these characters, and I worry that the weight of this interconnected universe is just going to crush Disney at some point. Because even if you look at the fact that if you go on a Disney cruise,
I wouldn't be mad
there's story there with these actors, and it's like they're still using like dead characters. Like going to Avengers Campus is so bizarre because you've got Iron Man there, you've got Black Panther there, and sometimes Shuri Black Panther is there too, and you're like, what's going on?
Wanda's there.
Wanda is there. A Black Widow is there, and you're like, you're all dead. And you go on a ride at like Disneyland Paris that is like based on Iron Man, and it's like he's dead. What's happening? And then you go on the cruise, and then they're involved, and you're like, you're dead. Why can't you die?
But they're not dead to like the fans, and I think that's why Disneyland is
and
smart.
They don't want to die, right? You don't want Iron Man to be dead. Your son or your daughter loves this character. They want to interact with them, but like it's still tied into the movies, which is very weird because the movies keep going. I don't know.
I think what it was is that like Feige or someone else at Marvel Studios was never that excited about Kang the Conqueror. I think Kang the Conqueror came up a lot because like in the past 20 years, they have kind of retconned other characters from Immortus to Rama-Tut to Scarlet Centurion to all be different incarnations of Kang. Yeah. And that's not how Kang originally it was. They kind of like retroactively made Kang connected to all these other characters and then had an interesting role in some recent, but he's someone who's always been around. Yeah. And so I think someone pitched Marvel Studios or internally at Marvel Studios are like, what if we could do this? And they like the pitch, but like, let's find an actor for it. And then they cast Jonathan Majors. Peyton Reed cast Jonathan Majors for it for Quantumania, and they got him into Loki, and they loved what he did with Loki so much, so it made sense to them. But realistically, I don't know if Feige ever really liked the idea of swapping in Kang in place of Doom for Secret Wars, which is something that I think he was always going to do. And that deep down, he was...
I do agree as a comic book fan. I do agree with the fact that it always, if you're going to do Secret Wars, it has to be Doctor Doom. It can't be no one else but Doctor Doom. If you're going to do Secret Wars, you're going to do it right. So I do agree with him there. What I also agree with him is I think that Disney was just, I got to say how I feel about it. It's just my opinion. They seen a talented black actor. Let's get him now, and let's get the stench of T'Challa off of us. Let's get the stench of not doing a Blade movie quickly off of us. I could be wrong. Put it in the comment section below. I could be completely wrong about that. But that's just the way that I feel about it. Not saying it's right.
It's always like, okay, well, you know, I like what Major's doing. I think he's a star. We can make this work. And then when all the Major stuff came out, he's like, I never really liked Kang that much.
You take off one hat and you put on another hat.
So the idea of recasting is like, why don't we just recast the character and just restore it back to what it was? Because Dr. Doom is a beloved character. Doom does get us to that $1 billion mark just on those 4 letters.
But why did Doom have to be why did Robert Downey Jr. have to be Doom though? That's what does not make sense. And you paid him $75 million to come back, but you couldn't pay Chadwick Boseman when he hit $1.3 billion. And they was going to recast him anyway. You couldn't play another actor that would have been big time, probably would have been a little bit cheaper, so you give your other resources that money to your writers because your writers suck. Nope. Pay him. Because everybody loves Robert Downey Jr. Dude, it's trash. It's so trash to me. I hope it flops. Like, everybody is mad. I've been reading a lot of blogs, you know, on Facebook, a lot of comic book blogs on Facebook that are still pissed off about Guy Gardner's haircut. Guy Gardner's haircut for Superman. Right? But not looking at this and being like, you know, I'd rather have my energy into the travesty that's going under there than a man's haircut.
Now, casting Robert Downey Jr. in that role, I think is sweaty. I think it's like, ooh.
And bring it back to the Russos.
Yeah, and bring it back to Russos. It's sweaty.
Double sweaty.
Yeah. I don't know if that was necessary, but I think it will work. And I think it will work.
And I'm ready for, you know, Marvel Studios to kind of get away from just retelling comic book stories. You know, I want to be surprised. They find ways to subvert expectations, right? But I do feel like they're tied to like, well, we've got to put these seminal events in comic books. We got to put them on film because that's what people really want. But a majority of their audience hasn't read these comic books and they don't care. And sometimes going back to these older stories, they're a little clunky and they involve so many characters that, you know, Marvel has not spent the time building it. Like the Beyonder. Do we think the Beyonder is going to show up in these Secret Wars? I don't think so.
I don't know.
And the more you get into cosmic Marvel, the heavier the concepts get. I feel like they already don't know what to do with Celestials and gods and the Eternals. Like they don't know what to do with all these characters with like insane power sets that can reshape a universe. Like it's sticky. So yeah. I want them to just get away from that. Don't worry about retelling comic book stories. Subvert my expectations. Show me new stories. When you get into the X-Men, you know, they're gonna have a Sentinel at some point, right? Mm-hmm. The Phoenix Force is gonna show up at some point. But like, find a different way to tell me these stories. Like, don't just rehash comic book stories again and again.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I want to be a bit surprised, but I think really Marvel's business model and what has worked for them is not to subvert expectations, but to fulfill expectations.
Sure.
It's to just identify what the most important splash pages have been and to recreate them on film, and or just identify what dream scenarios, like Cap wielding Mjolnir. You know, that's an important one. You know, in Avengers Doomsday, we're gonna see Robert Downey Jr.'s got Emperor Doom reaching into Thanos' chest and aging him up into a skeleton. That's guaranteed. We're going to see that. Yeah. And it's just like, even people who don't read comics know those images exist, but because to be an MCU fan right now is to be someone online, watching videos from New Rockstars and other channels, hearing people like us talk about that, being on Twitter and Reddit and these other places, and hearing other comic book nerds talk about these moments and seeing these images and being like, holy shit, that's really cool. Now I want to see that in film. And that's Kevin Feige understands that. That's why he's putting Doom in these things now. Is like, I think Marvel Studios has always been predicated on just like, not surprising us, but just fulfilling our wildest dreams that we didn't think were possible. And that is like, I think for people like you and me, not that exciting because we want to watch stories that surprise us. Yeah. But I think in some ways it's also surprising to see them pull off getting Chris Evans back as Johnny Storm in a movie. You know, like that kind of stuff is like, they actually did it. They actually got Toby back. Like there is a bit of surprise. Like those madmen, those they got this guy out of his weird hole that he was doing yoga in somewhere in the desert and got him to be in a movie.
Who's the one doing yoga?
Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
He likes doing yoga.
But see, again, like I said, it's cool to bring up, and I really hate this as a black comic book nerd, a black comic book collector. All of this, man, it's really hard to see people get excited about their characters, and then here I am suffering to see my character. I don't think the average, I don't know, and I don't want to speak for the average Caucasian nerd, but I don't think y'all know how important and how cool it is to see our characters and see them done right on film. How excited we get. You know what I mean? How happy we get, how we turn up for those characters. Y'all get to laugh and joke about y'all characters. I was just thinking about it yesterday. You know, I was joking around doing a Heath Ledger Joker impersonation. And then remembering how much I was in love with Jack Nicholson's version of that character. You know what I'm saying? And then looking at Joaquin Phoenix's character, looking at the original Joker on the show, the Batman show when I was growing up, it was a syndication. You know what I mean? Like seeing that and getting kind of happy about that, but then thinking about why can't I have that with my own characters? It's a travesty.
He's playing cards, is what he was doing. Come on. I mean, I will argue the first Iron Man, it subverted a ton of expectations at the very end when he says, "I am Iron Man." He announces that was a time when all superhero stories were about secret identities. It was true that Batman Begins comes out the same year, or Dark Knight comes out the same year, right?
Or the next summer, yeah. Oh no, you're right. It is the same.
And
summer.
it's like Batman was still obsessed with like not knowing who this person, having the secret identities. Spider-Man was still having the secret identities, right? And Iron Man was like groundbreaking, and that movie comes out, and when you think how it's going to end with him keeping it secret, he's like, "No, I'm Iron Man," and that set the stage for the MCU of like, no, a ton of these characters are people that the public knows who they are. They know who the person is, and the government's connected to it, and like that. And that has always been a really cool thing that I thought the MCU did really well.
Yeah.
And subverted expectations there. So like keep doing more of that. And I do like when they tell these stories and they find ways to surprise us. Iron Man 3, people have mixed feelings about it, but like, not doing, kind of surprising everyone with the Mandarin being like a fake and all this, like that was fun. That's something we didn't see coming. But then, when they were getting into Thanos and it's like you're bringing in the Infinity Stones, I guess they subverted it a little bit with it not being about death, him like courting Lady Death, like that was different. But that's all I'm worried about is them just trying to stick to these stories and it doesn't work out. Secret Invasion being a great example of that, where I think they saw, Secret Invasion, comic book fans love it. It was a big thing in the comics. Let's do that. We got to do that. And then I think
and it was trash. Garbage pail juice with maggots still in it. Doing high dives and all of that. Doing the water Olympics in it. Trash can juice.
Realized it was very hard to do, and they didn't want to turn any of their heroes into Skrulls. Any of the big ones, R.I.P. Rhodey, you were a Skrull. So they just not even.
And then they made the black guy a Skrull,
and it just didn't work. And now it's like they did it. Can they do it again? I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
Can you do Secret Invasion Part 2? Would anyone want that at this point?
Not like what we saw before.
Unless they have the guts. Unless they have the guts to say Aunt May was always a Skrull.
Yeah. I think
always a
if you were to make an Avengers Secret Invasion story, like like Avengers will only ever be a movie, but if you could do like an anthology series over 6 episodes on Disney Plus with some major Avengers actors in it, and there were actually a lot of big stars involved, that'd be a massive budget. I understand that, but like I feel like.
But see, that's what I do like so far about the DCU. Think about it like this: you got all these stars coming in for Creature Commandos. They go from cartoon to live action instantaneously. Then they know that they are. So when you get your contract, David Cordsweat, whoever's going to play Batman, whoever's going to play Wonder Woman, you know that you're going to be tied into this whole entire universe, whether it's in animated form or it's in live action. Right? If you're not too big to get your ass on this HBO Max show, you're not too big to be in Peacemaker. That's what I like right now. But that is going to, I'm trying to tell y'all now, I'm predicting that's going to kill the MCU. Is going to have it at the brink of death. Because that's something that you are not doing. I'm watching Creature Commandos, having a great time watching it. Is awesome. I'm having fun, and then I go and turn around and watch What If, and like I want to throw myself out the window. Throw the whole What If away. The whole season. What If season 3? Throw that whole thing. It's 3 episodes that I like. 3. The Shang-Chi episode. The with the last episode, the What If. I like that, and the what if And that's because it was silly. Winter Soldier, and what's his name? That's how much it wasn't impressive. You know what I mean? Other than that,
a ton of people would watch it. I think when the MCU has been at its best, it surprises us not by just having someone walk into screen. Like the best, I think Kevin Feige and his team look back at Iron Man and think that the crowning achievement was Nick Fury walking out of the shadows. But you're right, the crowning achievement was just Robert Downey Jr. ad-libbing "I am Iron Man."
Yeah,
and I think Kevin Feige recognizes that was a huge moment and he understands the significance of it. But like what they have done is just bring in more people stepping out of the shadows, or if you're Blade, not even walking into the frame, and that keeps happening where they just have like faces, glub shittos walk in. And really, the coolest thing is just when something that you suspect about a character, they just kind of like a character zags where you thought they would zig, and the way they zagged was like actually who you thought they would be. Like, I mean, again, Steve picking up Mjolnir. Like, we never thought they would actually do that, but like we all knew that he was worthy since Ultron, and I thought that was just a brilliant moment when Tony brings back the I'm Iron Man line, and he takes the stones from Thanos, and Thanos snaps, and it's just like an empty, sad clunk. And that was just such a cool little moment. And it wasn't like someone just walking into a frame who has some kind of goofy headgear.
Right.
You know, like I think what they keep doing is doing things like Hercules, you know, in the Love and Thunder post-credit scene. And like there are people like, Hercules is in it now, but there's other ways that you can surprise fans.
Totally. I mean, even the first kind of tease of Thanos, I remember being in the theater, and then, you know, it's like his face turns or whatever. You see the nut chin, and it wasn't Josh Brolin at that point. It was someone else. Yeah. I forget that actor's name. Apologies. And a lot of people were like, "Who the fuck is that?"
It was a black guy.
You had to be a pretty big comic book nerd to know.
It was a black
Thanos,
guy.
I think that wasn't even for like casual fans of comic books as much, because he only showed up in like certain storylines. So them relying on just these reveals of characters that you then have to look up on your phone. Most audience members have to look up on their phone. That's not the subversion I like. It is when they surprise us with stories. I mean, the blip. Great surprise. No one saw it coming. Lots of fun. I think they regret ever doing it though, because man, it's just made their storytelling complicated in this universe where everything's connected. Because anytime a new character comes, were they blipped?
Looking back, what was like the best post-credit scene? Like the Nick Fury post-credit scene was great after Iron Man. Like some are just funny, some are world building. But what's the one that actually just I thought like the visuals of it was really creepy, and there's like it's over.
Yeah. And that
you don't know about Snap 4.
All right. I think I'm going to be done with this. I think we got enough of the Kang information out as much as we possibly got. I think we're good. Yeah, so what did you guys think about this? Like I said, for me personally, I'm looking at this and I am, for one, highly disappointed. It just in the way that Marvel is handling this. This is dumb. This is stupid. I'm just being honest with you. It's dumb and it's stupid the way that they're handling this whole thing. Number two, I'm a little disappointed in Eric Voss not just saying, look, we know he got convicted, but this is what he got convicted for. Okay, before I go further, to answer your question, all I can say is it wasn't confirmed, nor was it denied from my source. That's all I'm gonna say about that. That's all I'm saying about that. Wasn't confirmed, nor was it denied. But and I'm talking about, that's all. So I'm a little disappointed in Eric Voss because he could have looked this information up. When you talk about Jonathan Major's situation, is sensitive because he doesn't this whole thing is about to be over with in April. You know what I mean? He's done with his domestic violence classes in April. So we don't have to worry about that. He had the lawsuit dropped. So I just feel like he could have did a little bit more in saying what he did, like when I was on TMZ and we were talking about Jonathan Majors, say exactly what he said. The verdict was a little murky. You know what I mean? Because he was just trying to get his stuff back. And that's how the girl got her finger hurt. Not a major crime. The brother got his finger hurt. I mean, the girl got her finger hurt, and they still don't know how that happened. that would have been better. That would have been better. But that's just my opinion on everything. But, you know, what did you guys think? I was trying to, it was a lot of people in the stream. So it was hard for me to get to everybody's comment. I didn't really start getting to the comments until I kind of start slowing down a little bit. And because I got to listen and watch the chat and all of that. So that's why I brought the chat up on the side. But yeah, I just think, to me personally, all they got to do, you know, is look at it in this way. What is going to make you the most money? Because at the end of the day, it's about making money, right? So at the end of the day, it's about making money. Then just make the money, right? Just make the money. And that way, you really don't have to worry about none of this stuff.
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
You already know when you see this, it's time to start wrapping this thing up. I've been on here for almost an hour and a half. I appreciate it. You know, we got to hear a lot of things. And again, I'm not mad at new rock stars or anything like that. It wasn't talking just down on Jonathan Majors or anything like that. I'm not looking at it that way. I'm not like, oh man, it was just dissing. No, it wasn't. I think there was some things that was just misinformed. That's what I believe. I believe it was a lot of misinformation and a lot of regurgitating a lot of stuff. But at the same time, it could have been better. Could have been better. That's it. You know, this is just like when E-Man, I was watching E-Man going after the anti-recasters. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. You know, will Disney be fine? Yeah. Will Marvel be fine? Is another question. And Disney's going to do what Disney's going to do. But they know Marvel, just like with anything, they can easily sell it to somebody else. It is a big money maker. They have been making money. But if stuff start, again, with anything, if there's no bottom dollar and stuff start flopping, you're going to have to cut your losses. And that would be unfortunate if, especially with all the money they have, you know, lined up in this place, it would be very unfortunate if that was to happen. In my personal view, do I want that to happen? Hell no. Hell no. I don't want that to happen. That'd be honestly, that'd be jacked up. Not even gonna hold you. That'd be jacked up if that was to happen. But I don't want that to happen. I want them to be successful in everything that they do. I just want them to do right by the characters. But if it gotta go, if it's a fire sale, if it gotta go, it gotta go. All right, I'm just getting some of you guys' rusty you guys' comments down. So, all right, thank you so very much for choosing another episode of the Dre Max Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can never, ever, ever miss one of my videos again. Until next time, I'll holler at you guys later. Peace and vibe power, y'all. I got to go shovel some snow. Where is my outro at? I got to get up out of here because I got to go. Wait a minute. You're telling me the video's over? What? Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll holler at you guys later. Peace and Bob Hire, y'all. Y'all take care of y'all self.